Evening, everybody. It's 5:30 on this Wednesday afternoon, and this is the 20th of December. Just 5 more days till Christmas. Um, this is your closing comment video number 2016. And just as I commented the first thing this morning about how boring it was getting, all of a sudden this afternoon it became less boring with the markets turning. Um, I have to say, FedEx is an excellent precursor to market moves. Just as we look at the transports as a leading indicator for the rest of the indexes, FedEx is one of the major components of that index. And because the index, all the Dow indexes, are price weighted, it carries an extra lot of weight. Now, you heard this morning they missed. It was terrible. Actually, it came last night after the close, and the stock was 252, and it was down 27. This morning it was 249, and it was down even further. And then um, the close today, regular trading hours, was 246. Now, it traded 239 overnight, um, or early morning today before the open, and it never got back to that price during regular trading hours. But it did close, it looks like, pretty much on the low. The low for the day, 245.60. And the last trading in extended hours now is 246.45. So, it's only 85 cents off the low, and it's down over $33.50 or 12%. So that one did not improve at all. Same situation on the earnings miss on General Mills. General Mills was trading at 64.12 this morning. It closed 64.31. So, it at least held steady and moved up, a couple of pennies. It was down 240. ARGX, which I told you this morning, had a failed um, trial for a new drug of theirs. Um, when we looked at it this morning, it was it had been 452. It had had a low of 296 overnight and was trading at 343, down 109 and a half. It actually continued lower and closed at 338.57. That was down 114 or 25 in change. Um, Micron had earnings today. It was a beat, both top and bottom line. But I will tell you that along with that beat, it was actually a loss. So even though it said it beat, all it beat was it's really, as Guy Adami put it on Fast Money, all it did was beat its really crappy guidance that it gave us just a few weeks ago. Um, and the stock right now, it had closed, as I said, um, in the neighborhood of 78.69, and that was down 348. It did come all the way back, um, and actually made a new high on the day at 82.89, which was close to the high 3 days ago, 82.99. The last on it is 82.05. That's down only 12 cents on the day after being down, as I said, 345. So that's an improvement. Um, the crude build that came out at 10:30 this morning was a bit of a surprise, not overwhelming. The build was 2.9 million barrels versus last week's drawdown of 4.26 million. Um, you can't really compare these numbers except the direction that they're going. This is not like earnings where, they had a big loss versus a big gain. There's an ebb and flow to this. This is the supply of petroleum in storage. And so, you know, it fluctuates. So I'm not terribly concerned about that. Existing home sales were better. They were up about 8%. 3,820,000 versus 3,700,000, and prices were also up 4% to 387,600. Now tomorrow, um, it's Thursday, so on Thursday we have jobless claims. We also tomorrow morning at 8:30 have the third estimate of the third quarter GDP. The consensus is about 5.2. The prior was 5.2. And the deflator was unchanged. Consensus was 3.6 versus 3.6. Also at 8:30, we have the December Philly Fed index. Consensus is for down 3 versus last month's down 5.9. Leading economic indicators at 10 o'clock, consensus minus zero point 0.4, prior was minus zero point 0.8. And by the way, that's 19 months in a row of lower LEI. Okay, and tomorrow we have EIA natural gas inventories at 10:30. I don't expect to see that be a market mover. The oil today, I really kind of like this, as I've mentioned a dozen times, using the weekly chart. When it gets down to this level, you hold your nose and buy it. Here we are on the 200-week moving average, never closes below it. Last 3 weeks has still not closed below it. And it has a nice little downtrend here. It's actually a nice little channel that it's been in. Going back to the daily, um, you can see that weekly channel, and on the daily, you'll see it even more clearly. On the shorter term, um, but what I really like here, aside from the fact that we held that 200-week MA, we have the MACD getting ready to cross over to the upside. We also have the 5 and 20-day moving averages getting ready to cross to the upside. Even with the build today, oil was slightly higher. It was only up 28 cents. It had been over 75.37 before that number came out. There's a lot of supply in here between, let's call it 76 and 77 and a half. But I think we can easily carry up into that 77 and a half, and then we'll make another decision. So the Dow was down 475, 1.27%. NASDAQ down 225 and change, 1.5%. S&P down 70, 1.47. The Russell was down 38, which is 1.89, and the big loser, as I mentioned before, the transports down 378.75, and that was 2.35%. Oil up a little. Nat gas down 2 cents. The gold was down $4.40, but silver was up 31 cents. Bitcoin. Evidently, the people in the Bitcoin pit did not get the memo that today turned into a risk off day because it was 43,630. That was up 1,270. And in point of fact, it had been 1,000 higher. So it's playing with those highs in the 44.5 to 45,000 range. The dollar was up spot 24 at 102.04, and the bonds were up three quarters. Also tomorrow, pre-opening, we have CarMax, Paychex, and CCL, which is Carnival Cruise. So we'll see again if they can actually make money on all of these great bookings that they produce that they've been ballyhooing about. And my contention, they don't make money. And then after the close, we have Nike reporting, a big name. All right, folks, I'll be back first thing in the morning with those numbers for you. Hope you had a good day.